Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Opposition KE. And today we will be discussing about the relationship between the church and the government. To help us understand this, we will revert to the quote by Frank Herbert, where he notes that when religion and politics ride on the same cart, a huge whirlwind follows. In our case, we have had our religious leaders extensively involved in politics. And in fact, the Kenya Kwanza government was brought into office through political campaign that was fashioned around the church. And to be specific, in our case, the evangelicals ruled the day. This situation led to the exclusion of the mainstream churches. And that is why you'll realize that Catholic, Anglican, Seventh day Adventists, and even Muslims did not have much to play in the 2022 political campaigns, especially when it comes to the formation of the UDA government. Now, listen to this. At the time of announcement of the 2022 presidential results, one of the mainstream church leaders, Jackson Ole Sapit, became very conspicuous.
This is the moment Kenya has been waiting for. The nation has been anxious, but we want to urge all Kenyans, let us now put our anxiety aside. The Bible says the end of a matter is better than the beginning. We want to urge the country to remain united. We have families to look after, an economy to grow, children who will go back to school. We want our nation back. Let us all pray together.
Not because of the church he leads, but on how he handled the entire process. And in fact, I dare say that many people in the opposition camp did not find it a good show when a respected man of cloth became embroiled in chaos, as we remember everything was on that day. On this analysis, I would like to dissect and analyze the main reasons why Jackson Ole Sapit has now turned, and I dare say has received salvation the Kenyan way.
we demand that the proposed finance bill of 2023 is subjected to thorough public scrutiny through meaningful public participation before it is presented to Parliament. The bottom line is that the majority of the population can ill afford tax increases, which seem to feature glaringly in the said bill. We demand that the government lay a clear structure that will curb wasteful public expenditure, be sensitive to the distressful debt situation and the dire economic hardship that faces the common citizen.
If you carefully watch this clip, you'll realize that Ole Sapit is not the Ole Sapit that we had at Bomas. Neither is he the Ole Sapit that signed an agreement of cooperation with the government to engage in animal feed farming at Galana Kulalu irrigation project. Jackson Ole Sapit has come out guns blazing, condemning the taxation regime that has been proposed in 2023-2024 financial bill. In fact, he goes ahead to note that the government must be prudent and frugal in its expenditure. Fellow Kenyans, I must tell you that this change of heart did not come as a surprise. Remember, in the Kenya Kwanza government, we have known and must know that appointments and distribution of positions are based on the shares of votes that you brought in during the 2022 general elections. In fact, Rigathi Gachagua here indicated that there was an MOU with the church and especially the evangelicals. Listen to this.
I want to confirm to you today that in the hands of President William Ruto, the church is very safe. I took the Bible and sought to assist him. On your behalf, I'll continuously remind him of our MOU with him on the church issues. Even as he has many other duties, it's my responsibility to remind him. And you are good because even if I forgot, the lady who is by my bedside will remind me every day. And even if I reminded Dr. William Ruto and he forgets, Mama Rachel is there to remind him. So you guys, you people of the church, you are safe either way. From all directions, you are safe. And finally, nobody can lock you out of the State House. Because even if government officials and security officials locked the gates, Mama Rachel will open it for you. So there's no problem. You are okay.
Now, if you listen to that carefully, you'll realize that Gachagua is indicating that there is an agreement between the government of Kenya Kwanza and the church, and that there are certain appointments that were reserved, and it was agreed that these appointments will be reserved to them. I will first look at the appointment of David Oginde, who was the former pastor at Sitam. He is from the evangelicals, and he takes over from Eliud Wabukala, who was the predecessor of Jackson Ole Sapit. In this appointment, it seems that a position that was reserved for the mainstream church has been taken by the evangelicals. As such, we note that Ole Sapit had to speak. Another key issue that made Jackson Ole Sapit speak is the continued and indefensible lies by the government, especially the president. For many weeks, the president has said that next week the price of unga will be 150 and below. Up to now, this promise has not been kept. And in fact, if you check at your local shop, you will note that unga sells at around 185 shillings. Now, looking at how things are going, and if Ole Sapit would have remained to look like he is supporting this government, automatically he would be party to these lies. It seems that reality is dawning on Ole Sapit, that this government possibly will not deliver on any promise. And therefore, the best thing to do and to ensure that I fight for my integrity, I must distance myself from it, and it must go on record that I opposed it. The third reason why Ole Sapit had to speak is on the proposed punitive tax that is shown in the Finance Bill 2023-2024. Fellow Kenyans, we must be honest with ourselves. Kenyans are hurting. The economy is bleeding. The purchasing power continues to deteriorate. And many lack that extra money to use it buying anything. And therefore, when the government that is supposed to cushion you from these hard times comes back to raid your little money that you earn through sweat, surely someone must speak up. And this is the opportunity that Jackson Ole Sapit saw so that he can redeem his glory that was being lost owing to his participation in the unceremonious and chaotic announcement of presidential results that occurred at Bomas. The fourth and final reason why Ole Sapit spoke so courageously and eloquently is the fact that the government appointments have largely appeared to be tribal. In fact, if you look at most parastatal appointments, they are dominated by one tribe, if not one, two. This is why in his statement he notes that government must stop cronyism, nepotism, and tribalism and start being accountable for their expenditure and how they use public resources. These are the intrigues that forced Ole Sapit, one of the strongest allies of the president, to speak out, because I can tell you that going by the happenings and daily dealings that the government is engaging in, the opposition was being vindicated. Because when they say that life is unbearable, that is the true sense of things in the ground. When they talk about tribal appointments, that is the true sense of thing in the ground. So, looking at everything cumulatively, I note that if things continue to be worse, at some point, even the M-Pesa bishops, as Mutainguni calls them, will start abandoning the president. And more specifically, with the proposal to regulate churches, given the happenings, given the activities at Shakahola, I can predict certainly that when the rubber meets the road, many evangelists will start castigating this government that we have. And since it was the main driving tool that rode president to his position now, the question is, what will he use in 2027? These are my take, and please take your time. Please subscribe to this channel as we start this journey. Like the video and comment to show us areas that you'd want us to comment about so that we grow and progress together. Thank you, welcome, and may God bless you. Namaste.